Powerball fever is growing tonight, and so is that record jackpot. It's now at $500 million. Natalie Martinez has a closer look at the drawing, who's playing, and what they hope to do with all of that money.
$2.5 billion reasons to dream.
I would like to open my own restaurant.
I would pay all my bills. I would donate to my local college.
Just 9 months after a record $656 million Mega Million jackpot, the Powerball has reached a record $500 million.
The great thing about the lottery is you put down a very small amount of money. For Powerball, it's $2, and the odds are 175 million to 1. But you could walk away with $500 million in the jackpot.
I know the odds. I'm a left-brain mathematician, so I know they're slim, but I thought it'd be fun to purchase one today.
Fun and potentially life-changing.
I'll pay my house off first. For one, I stop working. That's number one.
Whatever their strategy,
I play my children's birthdays and my grandchildren's birthdays.
there's always the dream.
I hope I win.
I hope you do too.
Even if I win $2, I'm happy.
That drawing is at 9:59 tomorrow night. So you could say maybe that our next guest hit a Hollywood jackpot of sorts. Part of his vast collection of classic movie posters is now about to hit the auction block. Dwight Cleveland is here to share some of his passion for posters. Now, you have one of the largest collections of movie posters, I think, in the world, right?
That's right.
1,100 posters?
Actually,
Okay, I'm
the
I'm already wrong.
Yeah, the archive is over 11,000.
11,000, said
yes,
wrong zero.
Right.
Okay,
So-
how in the world did you get started collecting posters? Where did this idea come from?
The art teacher where I went to high school collected these posters, and he had them up in his gallery and in the hallways and in his office, and that was my first exposure. So initially, I fell in love with the artwork, not the movies.
So is that what drew you, is just looking at any particular genre that you liked?
No, it's just the artwork of communicating the essence of a film in a two-dimensional format was just very appealing to me. And most people who collect these posters collect by genre or on a movie star or maybe a favorite film, but I really learned to love the movies from collecting all of these posters.
That's interesting. And how long have you been doing this? Since
35 years.
Wow. So it started right after with
It started in high school.
With your, did he give you any of his? Or?
No.
No?
No.
Did you want any of his?
I had to trade. My first deal, I actually worked in Hollywood in Los Angeles after graduating from high school. I took a year off before I went to college, and so there were a lot of poster shops there at the time, and I frequented them and finally found something that he would make a trade with me, and so I did make a trade with him.
So you did get at least one of them?
Yes.
So where do you find these posters? Because some of them have to be very rare.
I've traveled all over the world. I've been to every continent other than Antarctica to find these. And I go to flea markets, antique shows, I advertise in antique journals, I talk to a lot of dealers, auctions, people who've worked in movie theaters are a great source. Really anything, a lot of rocks that get turned over the years.
You really have to be seriously looking for some
Yes,
too. What
yes.
is your most famous or most valuable? Maybe they're not two in the same. What's your most valuable?
There are a lot of them. That question really sort of lends itself to kind of best in show or best in class, and there are just so many great posters. I hate to answer that question. There's some things that are worth a lot of money. There's some things that are very rare, that are recent, that aren't worth maybe as much, but will someday.
All right, so you have a couple with you. One.
I did bring a couple of really great pieces. The first one I'd like to tell you about is this Footlight Parade from 1933. So that's a pre-code poster.
Pre-code means what?
Pre-code. In 1931, the motion picture companies came together and they decided they needed to have a code to really regulate them.
So don't
in
put
terms
naked
of
girls on the front,
the
in other
moral
words?
codes. Yes, it really wasn't enforced until 1934, and so this piece predates that.
Okay.
And it's really one of the quintessential movie posters. It's got everything. It's a big film. This is going to be auctioned on Thursday and Friday of this week out in Dallas, Texas at Heritage Galleries. This poster, though, it's a great film. It's one of the classic musicals of all time. It's got great actors and actresses. Jimmy Cagney was one of the biggest actors ever. And it's got this amazing Art Deco artwork.
Beautiful. Tell us about Fairbanks Jr. really quick, because we're running out of time.
Fairbanks Jr., that is a Betty Davis piece, pre-code as well. You see it's a very sexy image of her. And this was very early in her career, 1933, so she hadn't won either of her Academy Awards yet. But this is, again, just a beautiful piece with one of the great icons of American film history.
And real quick, why are you selling?
There's really not that much to buy. I mean, I've bought everything I want to buy.
Okay.
And it's just, it's overwhelming.
Wow. Well, it's fascinating to see. I'm sure there's a great story about all of them. And if you have any interest and happen to be in Dallas, or I'm sure you can go online and maybe even bid online.
Yes.
Heritage Auctions in Dallas, ha.com is where you can check it out. And that's Thursday and Friday that'll be up for auction.
That's right.
All right. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Very cool to see some of your stuff. Appreciate it. Well, it's another example of the true spirit of the holidays. Coming up, more on a big effort to make Christmas a little merrier by simply answering the letter.